Hi, this is Lava Cables artist Justin Gray, and this is a performance of a composition of mine called First Offering on the Bass Veena. After the video I can show you how I'm using the lava cables for this specific instrument in a unique way, and how the lava cables are really making not only the quality of the sound, but the portability of the setup for touring, especially around a country like India, possible. So I'd like to thank Lava Cables for the genius concept of the mini ELC solderless cable kit, and I hope that you enjoy this performance. Thanks very much. My goal with designing the Bass Veena was to have a fretless bass that I could perform this music on with not only a very traditional approach, but a more acoustic and traditional sound. What I've done is I've created an instrument that has 3 separate outputs, which includes a piezo pickup under the harp, a piezo pickup under the main playing strings, and a magnetic pickup. And as I'll show you in a second, each of them have their own direct output. And in order to have a simple and organized setup that I could customize, the lava cables were the only cables that I was able to find of the quality that I needed, where I could make the cables myself, not only at home in Toronto before I left for this tour, but I needed to have some backups, and I needed to have the ability that when certain situations arose or as I changed my playing style, I needed the ability to carry something with me that I could make them. So the mini ELC cable by Lava is doing all of that plus more, and I'm just going to get the camera and show you, a little bit of a close-up of how I've customized these cables for myself. Not that you would want to do the exact same thing, but just to show you the flexibility of these cables. So now I'm just going to show you quickly how I'm using the lava cables in my own setup and how it's helped so much to reduce stage clutter, have shorter cable lengths for higher quality sound, and also just stay organized for times that I'm rushed before or after a concert. As I mentioned, the Bass Veena has 3 separate outputs, all of which are 1/4 inch instrument outputs. So what I've done with the ELC solderless cable kit is made 3 3-foot patch cables. I measured my setup and realized that I never need to be more than 3 feet away from my plug-in point, and having a short patch cable has not only helped to reduce clutter on stage, extra cable, but it also helps a lot with sound quality, which I've noticed. And also just by putting them together in this snake, it keeps things really, really organized. I've used color coding with electrical tape so that I know exactly what end is going where. And in the size of one normal 10-foot patch cable, I've got 3 in a really organized snake. Again, that's not necessarily something that you may have to do for yourself, but I just hope that this may show you the way that the cable inspired me to customize my own setup in a really, really easy way. Over here I've just got one 3-foot patch cable that I'm using for my other instrument on stage, which is the NXT 4-string bass. So between all of this, in one small pile, I've got 4 patch cables that are totally customized to my setup. Each of them took about 4 minutes to make. They've been super reliable, and I couldn't be happier with the sound quality and the reliability. So the next step is to show you exactly where they're going. These are called Apogee Duet 2s. The Apogee Duet 2 is an audio interface, USB powered, that runs with any audio program, and I'm using it with Logic Pro on a MacBook. As you can see, the Duet 2 is a very simple device, and it doesn't have any cable or instrument inputs on it. However, it does have a breakout cable. The breakout cable goes to 2 output channels, 2 balanced 1/4 inch out, and 2 input high Z and mic, phantom power inputs. So I've got 2 of them because on stage I'm using a total of 4 channels, 3 for the Bass Veena, 1 for the NS bass. Now in Logic Pro, I've got it all organized so I can send those channels where I want and EQ them, etc., etc. But again, having extra cables like this on stage could just add to things getting tangled, things getting confused, and in a time where I'm in a bit of a rush or I just need to know that everything's going to the right place, having less cable has been a real blessing. So with my color coding, I just put the colors to the colors, plug them all in, have it all set up, and I know for sure that when I come over here, if I put this into the Bass Veena and I put this into the NS bass, everything's good to go, and I've got only exactly the amount of cable I need on stage. Once I've experienced this, and once I've experienced having a really organized stage, it also helps the playing environment. It helps me to feel really comfortable that everything's set up, and it just helps me to feel really, really comfortable with also just not being crowded in that space and not having cables all over the place and entangled in each other. So for that, the Lava ELC cable kit has been such an incredible thing, just to be able to make my own cables the way that I want. And I hope that you can experience a similar feature, and I highly, highly recommend these cables for that reason. The next way that Lava cables can be a huge help to anyone looking to customize their own setup more is that when you visit the website, you'll notice that not only do they sell their own cable brand, but they also carry a number of other cable brands, really high quality cables, and they'll send you any amount of them that you need in any length with any tip on the end. For anyone looking to shorten their cables or get more precise with their cabling but still keep really high quality cables at a really reasonable price, this is the absolute perfect solution. An example in my case, out of the Apogee Duet, I again have these balanced outputs, and I need to send the Bass Veena and I need to send the NS bass to two separate channels to the house. So I have this balanced DI called the Radial Twin ISO, which is a 2-channel male XLR in, female XLR out, taking a balanced signal, sending a balanced signal to the house. So as I was able to measure my setup, and once again all I needed was 3-foot cables, so I got two 3-foot XLR cables by Jepco. I just did the research on the site and I realized that that was the price range that I required and the quality that I required. And I was able to go right on the site and request the length, the tips, getting male XLR to 1/4 inch, and I was also to get a third one of those, which is also going from the Apogee Duet, but sending a different mix to my amp. Now, in order to do that, I again needed the exact same cable, a balanced XLR to 1/4 inch, but then to go into a bass amp, as you very well know, a balanced signal is too hot, so this reamper by Radial, the Pro RMP, is stepping that signal down into a signal that the amp is happy to see. And once again, I was able to see exactly how I'm going to set it up on stage and cut myself an extremely short, high quality Lava ELC cable, just to go from the reamper into there. And then on top of that, on top of XLRs and 1/4 inch cables and etc., they also have a wide variety of speaker cables. So with this bass amp, it's called the Mark Bass Micro Mark, very tiny little amp I've been touring around India with. It does have an attached tweeter, and the tweeter makes it sound really quite a bit fuller, so I've enjoyed playing with it, and I measured it out, realized exactly the length that I required for a high quality speaker cable, and rather than having a 4-foot, 5-foot speaker cable all wrapped up and wasting space in my bag, I was able to get and to the inch, an exactly 13-inch speaker cable that allows me to use this exactly where I want. I realized, that's the maximum length that it was required for it to work. So visit the website, and I highly recommend all of the brands that they carry that I've experienced personally. The ability to customize your lengths, customize the tips, and then also make your very own cables with the ELC kit is something that I could have never dreamed of, and I highly recommend to anyone for your pedal board, for your setup, or even if you just want to make high quality instrument cables where you want to customize the ends. Maybe, for instance, the Bass Veena cable is half 90 degree and the other end is straight cables, because I realized that made the most sense for me. So I love that Lava Cables has put it in the artist's hands, and I'd like to thank them very much for making this possible without way too much cable, way too much cost, and way too much confusion. So hope this has helped, and thanks very much for watching.